Okay, so we're going to do I today as well. So a perpetuity is an annuity. So if you want to write, it's probably good to just write, this is an investment, okay? And an investment, and it's where the interest earned equals the payments received. Okay, so that might be thing. So it's like the opposite in the opposite scenario to interest only loan. This is your money, and what you're going to do, or the money gets invested, and whatever interest it makes, they take that out as a payment. So overall, your actual money invested in the bank, it doesn't change. It remains the same. So what do they often use these things for? Is like scholarships. So a university, they often get, say they get someone donated, $100,000 to the university. The university go, all right, we'll invest it, and they'll use the interest earned off it, and they give it to a student as a scholarship fund. So if you think about it, they still have whatever they got given, and they're using the interest as a scholarship. So that's the sort of scenarios you'll see in the worded questions. Other sort of scenarios that you see this happening is often, say, grandparents. So grandparents, they've worked, they've got a bit of their money and their capital or their super, and so then they might say, all right, we'll invest some of our money and we'll give it our grandchildren. We might give them the interest earned on a regular basis. So then, they get a little bit of things like that. So it can work like that. Also, obviously, this is how superannuation works. So the more the parents, or when you're working, anyone, and you get to your end of retirement, you hopefully have a big investment. You put that investment in, that amount of money into an investment, and then you can use the interest as your wage. So then you go on living and getting a regular payment. But you're not losing out. You still have all that money, and then, you might use that, or, that might become inheritance for the next person or whatever. So they're the scenarios. So you can see it looks the same, and we saw that was the same with the amortization tables. This looks the same as an interest only. So obviously you're going to gain interest, and the payment is going to be found the same way as that. So you might just write here as well, write a little note that D equals the payments received in this scenario, because it's going to just match out. All right, so with this one though, obviously PV is going to be negative because it's an investment, and FE will be the same but positive. So it's just the opposite to the thing. So let's have a look at this first question. So Elizabeth invests her superannuation payout of $500,000. So she's investing that's a negative PV, into a perpetuity that will provide a monthly income. So PPY is 12. If the interest rate is 6%, so that's I, what is the monthly payment? So payment is going to be the question. With an annuity, which is what a perpetuity is, with an investment, those payments will be positive because you're getting it back. So let's go look. We can use Finance Solver. So we'll write out all our things that we need. Always probably wise to we want to know the payment, put a little question mark on that. So I should be able to fill in everything else. Okay, I'm going to go for one period at 6%. Now, I know she invested $500,000. Now, because this is a perpetuity, the FE, she's going to still have, after a month, $500,000 in the bank, because you're only going to take out the interest as the payment. So let's go do that on our... Okay, so we get $2,500. So that's the payment, and that's coming to them. So, you just write what payment will she receive. So payment will equal 2,500. So she would get, Elizabeth will get 2,500 a month. So this is what people do. They work out how much they need to live off. You know, can they survive off that? And that's what they're aiming for when they, like, so she, because she's got 500,000, will she be able to live on 2,500 a month for the rest of her life? She'll be looking at that. So then that's why people are going, no, I want to hire, so I'm going to try and make my super bigger before I finish my work. All right, let's do this. 31. It says calculate how much money we'll need to be invested. So when they say that, how much money will need to be invested, that means PV is the question. In a perpetuity account earning an interest rate of 4.8% compounding monthly, and if 300 is to be withdrawn. So that's the payments, and we know it's also the D value. So this is the case, the same with interest only. When you have to find the PV, the original amount, you won't be able to use Finance Solver because PV and FV are the same, so that means there's two things I don't know. So let's write a little note so you'll remember, when PV needed, you will need to use the formula. Use the formula for D, for payment, so which is the D one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the D, this one, because remember PV also equals VO. Alright, so you can pop in what you do know from this. So I know the payments are 300, I know it's 4.8% per annum, and I know it's compounding monthly, and that's what I want to know. I'm going to call VOX. So just like that. So solve, comma, X. What do we get X to equal? So these ones, I get 75,000. So they invested. So how much money will they need to invest if they want to get a monthly payment of 300? So they need to invest, the investment, or the PV equals 75,000. Okay. Last one. So a university mathematics faculty has 30,000 to invest. So that's a negative PV. It intends to award an annual mathematics prize of 1,500. So that'll be a payment, and that'll be a positive. And with interest earned from the investing this money in a perpetuity. So they'll give it away, so you'll know you can go to your summary sheet and you will be prompted with all your Finance Solver things. What is the minimum interest rate? So I is the question that will allow this prize to be awarded. So you can use your Finance Solver, and all you have to do is know that the interest rate's the question, put a little question mark on that, and everything else. When you go to your summary sheet, you'll be prompted to say you can just put 1 there. The PV is negative 30,000, and that's the same as the FV, but it's positive. And the payment is a positive, they get 1,500, and PPY was, now what was this? They are going to award an annual. So what does annual mean? PPY equals 1. So 1, so let's work. Okay, we get 5. Oops, sorry, I'll just put it in red. We got 5. So minimum interest rate. Because obviously if they got higher, they would get more, so that's okay. So the minimum interest rate they need is 5% per annum. Okay.